Shabbat Shalom to everyone who is here with us physically. Welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. And I know people will be coming in, but I want to make sure we're going to be going live to our virtual streaming in about 3 minutes. So I wanted to make sure everyone had some important information before we do. Just to note, in 2 weeks' time, we are going
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As I look out into the congregation here, I see from the beauty of your eyes most people that I know. And we are so happy to welcome you here. The beauty of God just through your eyes is coming to us. And I'm looking up at the cameras, knowing who's out there, having watched the chat and knowing who loves to come to synagogue with us. And if you are here for many reasons, we hope that we can fulfill that all for you this evening. I'd like for us to begin with a prayer. We begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in our lives. God needs no words, not English nor Hebrew, no semantics, even no services, but we need them. Through prayer, we can sense our inner strength, our inner purpose, our inner joy, and our capacity to love. And as we reach upward in prayer, we sense these qualities in our Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world that God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We bring light and vision to our lives with our candle lighting.
I'd like to call upon Stacy and Mike Jason to kindle our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As I offer a correction, always, Stacy Coleman and Mike Chasen. I'm very particular to those appropriations. Thank you.
It's wonderful to see here in the congregation also young people who are coming back from college, who are going to college, who are not yet there but working on it. And one in particular tonight, we welcome home Isaac Mayer, who will be coming up to join us in music later on in our service. So many communities sing the entire book of the Song of Songs, the Songs of Solomon, songs of erotic love, songs of love between partners, between God and the people, between us and our Creator. And we sing on page 11, Dodi Li. Please join us, or on the screens.
These are the
Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala. Beloved, we welcome Shabbat, page 20.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, השם הוא תפארת ולעילא. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, באורך קומי ארי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלח. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בשלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני המסגולה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon Melech, Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon Melech, Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu.
we breathe in that sense of Shabbat, as we received Shabbat, now we're called to prayer. Page 146, I invite you to rise if you're able in mind, in body, and in spirit. As we face towards east, toward Yerushalayim, we join together for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach
As we join together in Hebrew with the words of the Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim v'chokhmah poteach she'arim uvituna mishaneh itim umachalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד.
And we join responsively. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world.
In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Shalom.
And we continue together as we read and chant Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך וקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. So on page 152, we reflect from creation to God's oneness, revelation to redemption. We join together for Michamocha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Spread over us in this time, this shelter, your sukkah shlomecha, your shelter, your wings of peace. We join together.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, fros aleinu sukat shlomecha.
just thinking about the trajectory that we applied to our prayer this evening, which was getting into the Spirit and then moving into the foundational prayers where we have creation and revelation and redemption. And then we're going to enter the Amidah in a few moments, this time where we're thinking about the gratitudes and the requests of our lives. And I'm thinking about that foundation isn't complete without knowing one another. Because the Milchamocha was not only about the miracle of the Israelites crossing the sea in order to start on their journey, but the journey is only impacted by the people in which we're surrounded by. So those who are with us live for a moment, before we enter into the Amidah, take a moment to look around you, behind you, next to you, say Shabbat Shalom to someone. Those who are with us in our virtual community, I invite you to write a message on your chat just to say hello. And good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom. All of the wonderfulness that is the ability for us to increase our gatherings, the abundance. Marabu Masecha, yeah. How great, how beautiful, how abundant. God's gifts. And so I invite you to rise if you are able, page 154. We begin with the central prayers of Amidah, Adonai Sabbatai, and then we'll invite you in your pace to share words silently, those that are found in your prayer books, those meditations and rhythms of your hearts, and we'll come together and conclude on page 167. And when you are finished with your personal prayer, I invite you to be seated.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite ilatem
Prayerful moments are all about the time when we can take a pause, when we can fully reflect on the things that we're most in need of, whether that's refuat haguf, which is a sense of repair of the body, healing of the body. I'd rather reframe it as tikkun, the idea of repair, that prayer gives us an opportunity to offer repair. And in a moment, we're going to reflect on names of those who are in need of refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, or healing of body, of mind, of spirit. Those individuals in our community we're thinking of at this time, but also perhaps us. Perhaps there is a way and a need that each of us is in need of tikkun. And so when we say the Mishnah Berach today, it's not only about those who are in need of healing in the physical or the spiritual sense, but perhaps there are ways in which each of us could use that tikkun, that wholeness, the shleimut, the wholeness that we yearn for, that only comes with the work. And so our community is thinking of Mark Edelman, Jamie Allen Black, Phyllis Bendit, Norman Berman, Leslie Cohen, Shirley Deckelboim, Jeff Falberg, Samantha Farouche, Howard Gallant, David James Gallardi, Denise Garrick, Evie Golden, Nancy Gordon, Steve Gould, Laura Haberman, Ellen Hutt, Michael Jesser, Ruthie Jordan, Heidi Krantz, Michal Batavida David, Bill Mills, Regina Papayan, Karen Romer, Galina Rubalchenko, Rhonda Schwartz, Shalom Binyamin, Yeshua Natan Ben Shana Tobia, Cindy Spector, Patricia Spira, Sharon Thomas, Rochelle Trieger, Maxine Trimble and Gerald Trimble, David Tossman, Fred Valfer, Amy Provisor Webb, Kathy Weil and John Weil, Robin Weiner, and George Wise. As my eyes meet yours, I invite you to share the names that you're holding in your heart, if you're so inclined, so that we may hold them all physically and virtually in our hearts as well. V'sim Mishbech Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'Imotenu Sarah Rivka v'Chel v'Leahui Yivarech et HaCholim. God of our fathers and foremothers, bless all those in need with much healing, with much tikkun, with much shleimut, wholeness. We join together.
Shabbat Shalom. Man. You know those, I don't know if you're familiar with the app Time Hop, but it's an app that shows you, we got one nod from the under 18. It's an app that shows you what you've done in years past on this date on social media. So what pictures did you post? What videos did you post? And a year ago today, I gave a sermon where I started by saying Shabbat Shalom, and it's weird not to hear it in response. It's very nice to hear it in response. And earlier today, we celebrated the end of the school year Shalom party with our Bill and Sid Rubin preschool community. I was reflecting with a staff member that it was just a year ago the extent of our celebration was a drive-through where students could collect their art and thank their teachers for the year. And it was long after when we would normally have held the party. A year ago, we were still learning how to handle COVID. Cases were still climbing. And we honestly didn't know whether we were going to survive existentially or literally. Yet here we are, June 2021. We have all been running nearly nonstop since March of last year. And fortunately, through the miracle of science, there is not only a light at the end of the tunnel. That light is getting brighter every day. Many of the conversations that I, Rabbis Navarez and Bernstein, and our mental health specialists have been having with many of you as we have processed this past year have focused on the things that we've lost. People, moments, experiences. But perhaps at this moment, we should also shift our focus to things that we have forgotten. While there are surely safety measures that will remain in place, we want our lives to get back to normal, the way they were. After being in our bubbles for so long, perhaps we have forgotten our core values, our compassion, our caring for the other. Unfortunately, so many of our essential workers, the ones who helped us literally get through this, the ones whose names we don't know but whose faces we see as we return to places like supermarkets, they are the ones that have bared the brunt of the frustration and fear that has been manifest and expressed in anger. Jewish tradition offers us a tool to help us remember who we are and what we're meant to do. The Talit. We read in this week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha, Adonai said to Moses as follows, "Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all of the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge." Look at the fringe and recall all the commandments. Nina Beth Carden writes, "To immerse ourselves in the prayers of the everyday is to shed the perspective of self that might restrict and enslave us. We are invited to don the cloak of community that enlarges us and encompasses us. The surest and most satisfying way to self is through the corridors of community. Liturgical prayer, especially conducted within the context of community, is one place where self becomes." Perhaps this is part of my romance with the Talit. When I put on a Talit, even when I am alone, I place myself in the folds of my people. Donning the Talit is a daily visual symbol of my identity, reminding me to whom I belong as I begin my day's journey. It protects me, shields me, and defines me. Falling around my shoulders and arms, the Talit provides me with a secure awareness of my body and its boundaries. I am not lost there, but found, Others are outside. I am inside, but we are one. I fill up my talit, no matter my size. I always will. And it is in that fullness that I am counted as a member of the congregation. Indeed, the last two verses of this section of Torah are so important that we chant them every morning and evening. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. In other words, we not only need to remember in order to be holy. Remembrance itself is a holy act. See the fringes. Fulfill the mitzvah of remembrance. But that is a mitzvah that each of us needs to do for ourselves. And that means each of us is responsible for our own kavanah, our own intentions, our own spirit that lifts up the words of the Siddur off the page and into our hearts and souls. It is difficult, spiritual work, but the Talit helps us accomplish those goals, to participate, not just be present. And while only the service leaders traditionally wear a Talit at night, the Shabbat candles offer another opportunity to remember to observe mitzvot and remember our holy task of bringing goodness and light into this sometimes seemingly broken and dark world. As the light of Shabbat glows, so too does the light of returning to normalcy. As we enter Shabbat, I'd like to invite each of you to reflect. We spend just over an hour a week gathering for our Shabbat tefillah services, our prayer service. Here we meditate, we learn, we pray, we connect, we grapple, and we engage with our tradition. How can we imagine ourselves wrapped with the beauty, comfort, and constant reminder the Talit offers during the other 167 hours a week when we are not together praying? This Shabbat, take an opportunity to stop running. Look at your Talit. Remember what it represents. And put the values of chesed, loving kindness, into action. Shabbat Shalom. Shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your head. It's our honor to invite up Marcia Lubick as a representative from our Board of Trustees to offer some announcements.
Good evening. My name is Marcia Lubick, and I'm a member of your Congregational's Board of Directors. I want to welcome you to services this evening and tell you how delighted I am to see all of you here and all of you at home. I'd like to remind you that you can find everything you need to know about Beth Israel and our upcoming events at our website, cbisd.org. And I also want to mention to the congregants that are here with us tonight to please stay afterwards for motzi. On a personal note, I just want to say what a significant night this is for me. I haven't been back at Temple physically for, pre-COVID. So I guess we need a new expression for pre-COVID. Although I've been watching services almost every single Friday night, but being here is just such an emotional experience. And I actually found a reading that somewhat expresses how I feel being here this evening. There is something about the congregation praying together as one that makes me feel more alive than on a brisk winter's day. There's something about all of our voices rising together as one, which fills me with a quiet happiness that stays with me long after the singing stops. Why is it that here I can feel separate bodies come together as one and hold on to that perfect unity as long as possible? Why here am I able to reach out effortlessly and touch someone's hand, by doing so, touch our 5,000 years of history? There is something about this place which brings out the best in me, for it brings out the best in all of us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This coming week, we will be observing Rosh Chodesh, so we turn to page 261 for our prayers for the new month. Page 261. Together, our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Tammuz Yehyeh B'Yom Shishi. The new month of Tammuz begins on Friday.
May it be your will, God my God, and God of my ancestors, that the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of your new moon fill us with well-being, guide us as we grow, making us may it be your will, God my God, and God of my ancestors, that the coming month bring us peace, full life and blessing. May the promise of your new moon fill us with well-being, guide us as we grow, making us complete. Mishe'asa nisim lavotenu, Mishe'asa nisim leimotenu, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, מי שעשה ניסים לאמותינו.
We begin to conclude our service by turning to page 282 and rising for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו וגורלנו כעול עמונה, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, היום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. We turn to the words of Kaddish Yatom, Mourner's Kaddish. And what passes turns to dust, and what is essential is eternal. The body turns to dust. A person's essence is eternal. If you hear the name of your loved one and you are observing a period of Shiva, Shloshim, or Yartzeit, I invite you to rise so that we as a congregation may acknowledge your mourning. We announce with sadness the recent deaths of Robert Harris Aronson, sister of Sandra Morris, Cheryl Grayson, and Carol Borden, husband of Teresa Aronson, father of Jennifer and Tamara, brother of Gary Aronson, and Andy Borges, sister of Debbie Green, aunt of Ryan and Lucy. We are in the period of Shiva, the 7 days following burial for Marion Perlman, mother of Lauren Hunt, Jamie Grayson, Nanette Berman, grandmother of one. And we are in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days following burial for Rima Felty, Arthur Goldfarb, and Lois Hazen. Finally, we acknowledge the anniversary of death, the Yartzeit. Helen Aronson, Suzanne Baker, Sam Beck, Douglas Blank, George Bliss, Joseph Bronstein, Mark Brooks, Doris Kahn, Stuart Kahn, Irving Clemage, Jean Clemage, Louis Dukoff, Annie Efron, Louis Eisenberg, Robert Forsheimer, Ray Friedman, Beatrice Galper, Nathan Ginsberg, Howard Glenn, Ralph Gold, Jeanette Goldberg, Mila Gross Goldberg, Sadie Goldman, Bet Gratt, Eli Greenberg, Herman Heimson, Diane Hallberg, Randy Model Helsel, Cecilia Hockheimer, Martha Horowitz, Chester Jones, Selma Caden, Annie Kaplan, Louis Kaplan, David Kritzik, Saul Lefkowitz, Arthur Levinson, Sylvia Levinson, Rose Lieberman, James Lieberman, Natalie Lieberman, Bernie Lips, Jeff Litoff, Virginia Lyons, Charlotte Mainzer, Rusty Maltzman, Leon Mann, Annabelle Marshall, Sally Maper, Max Nelson, Ruth Nelson, Louis Nemeth, Max Nemitz, Morris Orenstein, Ernest Papelbaum, Jeanette Pekarsky, Janet Pekarsky, Gertrude Perrell, Gert Pollock, Alfred Poland, Paul Elliott Polson, Albert Premack, Rose Rady, Mike Reinerson, Louis Rosenwald, Ruth Roman, Abraham Schur, Edith Schur, Sonia Schoen, Zeldie Schuster, Jill Schwartz, Carol Sater, Cookie Harlan Serwin, Yuri Shamilov, Mark Scheinbein, Harvey Silber, Blanche Spector, Celia Marcus Speart, Joseph Spivak, Hilda Spritz, Jack Stern, Morris G. Strauss, Henry Thaler, Esther Trantz, Irving Weissman, Alice Wolf, and Fred Wolf. Perhaps you've come to say Kaddish for someone whose name was not mentioned. I invite you to share that name as our eyes meet. For those joining us virtually, I invite you to share that name with those around you or in the chat as we turn to page 294 and we join together in the ancient and hallowed words of Kaddish Yatom, and we rise together as a community. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Before we conclude with our closing song, Adon Olam, I want to invite each of you that's here to stay for just a brief moment as we join together in Motzi. Page 321, or put your prayer book down, put your arm around the person next to you, clap along, sing along, and we join together.
Vale אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה ותיברא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי ואין צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי ונת כוסי ביום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידו אף כד רוחי והייתי שם והעירה והבריאותי לבריאתי אדוני לי ולא אירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא לי 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 לי
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.